Welcome back to Thruxton. It's a beautiful autumn day here. We've had great sunshine, it's been warm, and we're all set for the final race of the season and the championship decider. It's Jason Plato's 40th birthday. Can he win his second British touring car title? Tim, what are your thoughts?
Well, I'm going to stick with my original prediction, which was Giovanardi. I said that at the start of the year, and I won't change that prediction, although I have to say my heart is probably with Jason Plato at the moment, because he's driven fantastically this year, better than ever before, and obviously after the week he's had, you know, it would be a huge result for him to win. But one way or another, there'll be a winner and there'll be a loser, that's for sure. And it's so hard to balance the emotions between the two drivers. They're both champions many times over, but it's not just them, it's all of the team and everybody else concerned. You know, these the drivers and the teams, we live, eat and breathe this sport, and it's with us 24 hours a day, and this is the culmination for these two teams and drivers. Absolutely right, as you say, big group of people supporting these two guys throughout the course of the season. For Seat Sport UK, Jason Plato now has that task to try and win Seat's first driver's title in 4 years of trying in the British Touring Car Championship. And of course, if you look at the other side of the camp, the Vauxhall camp, they've had so much success, Tim, in British touring cars, but they've had a couple of lean years, and this new Vauxhall Vectra that was brand new at the start of this year really has come on fantastically. It has. The Astra Sport hatch that they ran before was never the car they hoped it was going to be. The first year of development last year with the Vectra was a struggle, but we saw signs obviously from Giovanardi that it could be a race winner, and from the word go this year, the car was obviously competitive, and I knew that Giovanardi, with a competitive car, the champion spark that we only saw occasionally last year would be a regular thing, and he's delivered in spades this year. Yeah, well, he is a class driver, as we've already said about both guys, but this is the final duel then, the final confrontation between the Italian and the Englishman going for the title. Interesting little statistic that I hadn't really realised till I was looking through the results last night. No pole positions at all for Jason Plato this year, and I know he had to carry ballast through most of the year. Maybe that's the defining factor, but it is interesting that he, in previous years, he's been, you know, scored quite a lot of poles. I think he got 4 poles last year, had a couple the year before, but none this year. No, it is purely a factor of the weight. You know, the other cars have improved. We've had very fast BMWs in qualifying. The Vauxhall is quick, and it is purely a result of having to carry the championship leading ballast into qualifying every time. That's true, and it's been difficult from that point of view all the way through the season for him. But that's the price you pay for being the championship leader. So all the cars coming onto the grid, coming into position, and another one to watch out. We've got to watch out now, of course, for a rather different lineup on the grid because of that top 7 reverse from race 2. It means Tom Coronel is starting from pole position. Alain Menu starting from 2nd place on the grid. He is carrying ballast, but he could be a threat perhaps for a race victory here. Let's wait and see. Let's go down and join the grid with Diana.
Thank you very much, Ben. Yes, I am down here on the grid. As you can see, the cars are making their way round. Alain Menu is here. Already taken his place on the grid. Alan, what's your sort of plan for this race? What's the sort of strategy? Because obviously you come in for this final event of the year here.
I'm not exactly sure, to be honest. It will depend on the start and what happens to the complex, the first 3 corners, and then if I'm leading and I have a good chance to win the race, then I guess I'm going to try to do that. But the main thing is that I get the car to the finish for Vauxhall and the manufacturer point.
Absolutely, obviously everything to play for this race. It's the very final one of 2007. What can you bring to the whole party?
Well, what I can bring is really, like I said, just to get some points in the manufacturers, and then depending on how the race pans out, help Fabrizio if I can finish in front of Plato. But you know, that is pretty much out of my hands.
Is that the main objective?
The main objective for me is to score points in the manufacturers.
Okay. Are you happy to be back here at Thruxton?
Yeah, I'm very happy. It's a great track, and I've bumped into so many old friends and people who have been telling me, you know, it's great to have you back, and so I've really enjoyed my weekend.
Okay, Alan, have a good race. Thank you very much. We'll just go over to the man sitting on pole position over here, Tom Coronel. He's just getting his car set up as we speak, and I'll try and get a little chat with him. The door is open, and I can have a quick chat with Tom. Tom, what's your plan for this one?
Well, of course there is a plan just to see and get a good result. but of course there's also something to win or to lose. No, just make it a fair, nice race. But of course, I don't think I can keep the first position, so I will drop back, that's for sure. I think somewhere between 5, 6, 7 I should end up, because that's my normal speed.
Are you enjoying Thruxton?
It's an interesting circuit. First time for me here. In the beginning I really thought I was fast, and I looked on the timesheet and I was 2 seconds too slow. So no, it's very interesting, especially the high-speed stuff on the back, and the braking point before the chicane here is really difficult to judge. Well, for me, because I don't know what point yet, but it's getting better every step by step.
Yeah. Obviously, crucial race this one, the final for 2007. What do you part in all of this?
Well, of course, I'm the number 3 driver of SEAT, and of course we have to think about this as well, especially political-wise about points. But I will just do my own race, fair race. They don't want any bumping or stupid stuff. So no, I can do my own thing. It's no worries.
Okay, Tom, thanks very much. Have a good race. Okay, well, I think we've got time to go down here and try and catch up with the 2 guys that are vying for the championship. As we know, Jason Plato and Fabrizio Giovanardi. They'll be just getting themselves ready and prepared. It's a crucial race, this one. It's the final of 2007. So let's just quickly go over to Fabrizio, because Jason's with his race engineer, and have a quick chat with him. I think he may be in the car. Yes, he is, and he's having a quick chat with his wife, and we'll just jump straight in there. Okay, Fabrizio, how are you feeling?
Very concentrate. I have to be concentrate because I have to play on Jason, and the same way careful to the first corner because everyone wants to try to win.
Yeah, it's an anxious moment. How was the car and how did it feel on the way around?
Oh, the car is pretty good. I won 2 races, so I have to be confident this way. I'm just worried about what could happen in the accident or some trouble. Anyway, it's okay.
Okay, Fabrizio, have a good race. Thanks for talking to us. We'll leave him there and we'll go over and talk to Jason Plato, I think now, because he's free. We can have a quick chat. No, we can't speak to Jason, unfortunately. It's all about to get underway here, as we said, the final race of the year. Back to you, Ben.
Thanks very much, Diana. Well, what a fantastic climax this is to the whole season. Colourful grid down there. We've got sunshine here at Thruxton in Hampshire. We're just down the road from Andover, and it's proving to be a fantastic venue for the season finale. It was a great racetrack for Fabrizio Giovanardi earlier this season when he took 2 wins. But just a quick reminder, the winner of the 3rd race of that day was a certain Jason Plato. So are we going to see history repeated? I think for him to win it from where he is on the grid is going to be a tall order, but who knows? It's all going to be up for grabs here. A quick wig from Jason there, and well, he looks pretty confident, doesn't he, at the moment?
Yeah, he does. I mean, when we spoke to Fabrizio, he was very, very monotone, very focused. He's in his office now. He's got his helmet on. He's in the zone. He's worried about things going wrong for him, things he can't control, not about what he can do. And that's the problem with the reverse grid. But he's boxed in on the inside, and on the outside you've got Plato with a fast-starting BMW right in front of him, Colin Turkington. If Turkington gets away well, Jason can go with him, and it could be that Fabrizio will be boxed in on the inside.
Well, let's see what happens. It's a manufacturer's title still to be won, but Vauxhall do have the edge in that, and of course they've got Menu up near the front with a very fast car as well. Let's take a look at how they do line up for this race then. It is Tom Coronel in the Seat on pole position, Alain Menu in the Vauxhall. It's the 2 guest drivers for those 2 manufacturers who are together on the front row of the grid. Second row, Matt Jackson in the BMW and Colin Turkington in his Team RAC version. He was very happy with the car earlier, reckons there's more to come. He's now won the Independence Drivers title. He can go for it in this one. Matt Neal lines up on the 3rd row with his nemesis, Jason Plato. Those 2 have had plenty of incidents in the past. I wonder what will happen this time. But Plato will be more focused on staying ahead of Giovanardi. And he has Mike Jordan alongside him. Now, Giovanardi and Jordan had a little coming together earlier this year. Let's hope that all stays clean. Tom Chilton and Tom Onslow Cole on row number 5 of the grid together. And then behind them, we've got Darren Turner and Adam Jones. So the 3rd of the Seat Sports entries back there on the 6th row. 7th row, John George and Paul O'Neill. And behind them on the 8th row, it's Rick Kerry and Martin Bell. On row number 9, the Alfa Romeo of David Pinkney and the MG of Jason Hughes. Behind them, we've got Gordon Shedden. He should be able to move up from there. Owen Murray is 20th on the grid. Then it's Rob Collard 21st after accident damage in the 1st race, similar for Matt Allison, so he's 22nd. And then at the back of the grid, we've got Erkut Kazilimak, the Turkish driver, starting 23rd. And Alan Taylor, who's had gearbox problems all day long, I'm afraid, starting 24th. that's the lineup then for the start of this final race of the 2007 season. Here we are. Brands Hatch started it all off at the beginning of the year. We saw dramas there. We saw Matt Neal's only win of the season so far at that opening event. But of course, we've seen the Team Halford's cars prove to be competitive. But I'm sure that Matt would love to end his season with a victory here. Away they go on the green flag lap then, Tim. And for those two drivers going for the title, it all comes down to this.
Yeah, it all comes down to this. Maximum concentration. They know what they've got to do. They are both worried about this first corner. There's always a little bit of a sort out on the first lap of the last race where you've got slightly slower cars starting in front of them, but they'll be watching each other as much as they're watching everyone else.
Yes, they will. They'll be keeping a close eye on what's going on around them. But Thruxton looking superb here in the autumn sunshine as they head their way round towards the complex, towards one of the key braking areas and perhaps one of the key overtaking areas. That was where we saw cars, the two leaders, flying across the grass earlier on today. And let's hope that it all stays reasonably clean through that section when we get into this race. As I mentioned, do keep an eye on Gordon Shedden, starting from 19th place. He's shown good pace here so far.
Yeah, he had a problem. We saw him pulling off in that last race. That was actually a rear suspension breakage, just a hub fracture, a crack in the suspension, which is just showing how tough this track is. And I saw the SEAT mechanics looking at their rear suspension very, very carefully with torches and magnifying glass, checking everything was okay. So it's obviously a slightly weak area on these cars, but he's had good pace, as you say, this weekend.
Yeah, so Shedden trying to come up from the back of the grid. There's still a bit of a battle going on between him and Matt Neal for third place in the championship, and actually Colin Turkington is only 5 points behind Matt Neal now, so it's actually all quite tight behind them, isn't it? So that could be interesting. Well, Turkington quite well up on the grid, but so is Matt Neal, so that one's still to be sorted out, and we'll see exactly how that is resolved. All to play for here at Thruxton. The cars are on their way round then on the final formation lap of the season, and what a prospect we've got in store. Grandstands sold out 3 weeks ago here at Thruxton. It's a fantastic crowd, thousands of people up on the banking, whether at the chicane or at the complex. Some of the best viewing in the country here at Thruxton. And then, of course, the cars disappear out of sight a little bit from the grandstands when they're out through the fast sections, but we'll be keeping a very close eye on what's going on. Tom Coronel, new name to us, the Dutchman, who starts from pole position. And interestingly enough, it's both of the extra cars that Vauxhall and SEAT have brought here this weekend in their attempts to try and beat each other in the Manufacturers' Championship that have ended up on the front row together here for this one, Tim.
Yes, two drivers carrying maximum weight on the front row of the grid. That's the situation, just 1 point in it after 29 races. But those two cars on the front of the grid have got two BMWs starting behind them.
So, just to remind you, Jason Plato then, that 1 point advantage, starting in 6th on the grid. He's on the right as you're looking at the picture there. You can just see the yellow and silver SEAT. Fabrizio Giovanardi on the left as we're looking at it, tucked in behind the orange car of Matt Neal. So keep your eyes wherever you want on those two or on the leaders to see what happens in race 30 of the 2007 Dunlop MSA British Touring Car Championship. It's the title decider here at Thruxton. We wait for the lights, and then it's all going to let loose in the final race of the season. Away we go. Coronel versus Alamenu up front, and Giovanardi ahead of Plato. Giovanardi's made a much better start than Jason Plato, and he's got ahead of him.
Plato had the chance because he was behind Turkington, that car in second place, but he's fluffed the start.
But what's happened there? Giovanardi's lost a bit of time there, is he? No, he's still in front. Coronel's dropping back. Battle up front. Jackson trying to take the lead from Turkington. Two BMWs are up side by side. And
That's Plato getting involved.
Yeah.
That's Plato coming through the last part of the chicane. Sorry to interrupt. He's now fighting back, but he had 3 Vauxhalls in front of him. The worst possible start that he could have had.
Yeah, and he's still got Giovanardi up ahead of him. So this is not good news. Giovanardi's got a couple of cars between himself, I think, and Plato. So Plato's really got his work cut out here. Yes, indeed, it's Tom Coronel that's tucked in behind Giovanardi. The SEAT, the blue and yellow SEAT, that's the man who was on pole position. And Jason Plato's really got his work cut out now. This is going to be a tough one. Up front, it's Matt Jackson who leads in the privateer BMW, ahead of the Colin Turkington's Team RAC version. And then the Team Halford's car coming through next. That's Matt Neal, but he's under pressure. Giovanardi is flying. Look at Giovanardi round the outside.
Matt Neal waved him past. I saw Matt Neal waving as they came up the straight. That's incredible. I didn't think I'd see that from Matt Neal. Has he got a problem, or is he just letting him get on with his race and his championship?
Well, that's an interesting one. Let's see what happens now with the Seat behind him, and then the other Vauxhall in there of Tom Chilton. Alan Menu, I don't know what happened to him on that first lap. He started on the front row and he's disappeared down to 11th place. So Menu had a horrible time on that opening lap, and he's got a lot of work to do from there. But as they all head in towards the complex, this is very, very tight with the Seat, and that is Plato trying to squeeze his way through, but he couldn't quite manage to get past Chilton, and Chilton's going to do his best, of course, to defend for Vauxhall's honour.
Well, Chilton can be very defensive. He'll be the worst person that Plato wants to see in front of him, a hard man and a hard man to get past. At the moment, it's huge advantage to Giovanardi, and I was so surprised to see that Matt Neal effort. If ever you wanted confirmation that Matt Neal might be going to Vauxhall next year, that must be it.
Well, that's an interesting one. Jason Plato in 7th place. He's trying to attack for 6th to get past Tom Chilton, but Chilton now has got that Vauxhall hooked up very, very well behind Jason Plato. It is now Tom Coronel in the other Seat, so he's going to act as rear gunner. That will help Plato a little bit, but he needs a little bit more. And as it stands at the moment, Giovanardi will win this title by 5 points. That's if they finish where they are right now, but there's still a long way to go in this race.
Yeah, and Plato bashing it over the curbs there. He can't afford to save the car. He's just got to go for it now. He'll take all the risks he can. The weather's cooled off just a little. This is the start. Giovanardi gets off great. Plato has to slot in behind, but look where that RAC BMW has got to, round the outside. The two BMWs, as we suspected, straight into the first 2 positions.
Yeah, the rear-wheel drive BMs really shot away, didn't they, at the start of the race? It's still Matt Jackson who leads this race. Let's not forget the youngster who's in his first full season of British Touring Cars and has had a win already, ahead of Turkington in 2nd. And there'll be big rivalry between the two because they both drive different BMWs for different teams. There in 3rd place is the man who could win the title. He's in a very strong 3rd place. It's Fabrizio Giovanardi, the Italian, with a gap back to Matt Neal in 4th place. Then it's Chilton in 5th position, and then it's Jason Plato. Plato really has got his work cut out here. He's got to find some pace, and the BMW of Matt Jackson sliding its way through Church Corner at 125 miles an hour, and now heading up the hill towards the chicane.
Yeah, Matt Neal had a bit of a slide there through Church, 125 miles an hour. That's let Chilton get on the back of him, and they've left Plato behind a little bit. In fact, behind Plato, it's now Adam Jones coming through in the old Seat Toledo.
Yeah, he's got ahead of the other 2 Seats of Tom Coronel and Darren Turner. That's a bit of a surprise. Tom Onslow Cole then in 10th. Gordon Shenton's up to 11th already. That's a pretty good getaway. He started back in 19th position, and he could be one to watch as we make progress through this race. Mike Jordan 12th, Alan Menu in 13th, then Collard, Allison and O'Neill. This is the battle for the lead though, the 2 BMWs. It's Matt Jackson versus Colin Turkington, and this is a very, very interesting tussle.
It's a great tussle between 2 drivers who've driven brilliantly this year. Matt Jackson, his first ever year of touring cars, he's already a race winner, supremely confident. Turkington, once more a class year, really, really come of age this year, highlighted by that fabulous 3rd place in the World Touring Car race at Brands Hatch. But 2 BMWs out the front, long time since we've seen that.
That's right. So is it going to stay this way round? Colin Turkington's had 3 wins so far this year. Matt Jackson's just had the 1 victory. There is a minor difference in the gearboxes that these 2 cars use. Jackson, a slightly lighter car as a result of that. The sequential box in the Team RAC car right behind him, and then it's Giovanardi. And look at this battle for the lead. Turkington moves to the outside, unlikely to go around the outside, but he might give it a go. Big slide into the chicane, and he has to shortcut it. As long as he comes behind Jackson, as he does, there shouldn't be any penalty.
Yeah, it was a great shot just before that as they came through Church, and you could see the inside front wheel of Matt Jackson's car bouncing up and down. The car looked far less stable, in fact, than the RAC version. They do run different shock absorbers on these 2 cars, but certainly it was. This is on board with Turkington approaching the chicane. Tries to go around the outside, realises a little touch that just puts him out wide, and realises his only option is to go straight on.
Mike Jordan's just set fastest lap. He's down in 11th place at the moment. But Matt Jackson, there he is, still our race leader from Colin Turkington in 2nd position. And then it's Fabrizio Giovanardi, the Italian, looking good for the title at the moment in 3rd. Matt Neal in 4th, Tom Chilton in 5th, and then Jason Plato. Can he find just a little bit more speed from that Seat? this Thruxton circuit was always going to be a tough one for Sayat to finish the season. We saw Vauxhall's dominance in the early part of the year here, and they've just got stronger and stronger, and he's flat out in the Sayat. But can he try and close up? Remember, the latter part of the race, whoa, look at that. That's how hard he's trying.
He's absolutely trying his heart out, he really is. But the pace will come hopefully from that Sayat in the second half of the race. That's where it's been strong so far. And maybe the BMWs will end up coming back to the other cars. Maybe that'll bring Plato up. There's a long way to go in this yet.
Yeah, long way to go. We're on to lap 6 out of 16. And so there's still a long way to go, as you say. And Jackson with that just fractional advantage over Colin Turkington. Giovanardi followed by Matt Neal, who doesn't seem to be on the attack, doesn't seem to be too worried about attacking for that position. And there is the position on the points as it stands at the moment. Giovanardi would win by 4 points as it is right now, and he would become British Touring Car Champion with Vauxhall. And I think, just looking at that Vauxhall would be manufacturers champions as well. So PR lady for Vauxhall, Jasmine, just looking very, very nervous there as they wait to see what happens, because they know that there's still a long way to go, and they lost 2 cars earlier on in race 1, remember, due to punctures.
They did, but it's still looking tough for Plato. He's got 2 Vauxhalls and Matt Neal. Now, none of those are obviously going to help him at all. He's going to have to do this all on his own.
He is. Jason Plato's last lap, 20.2, about the same sort of pace as those ahead of him. Oh, there's his wife, Sophie, and, well, they're just willing him on. They're just willing a bit more performance out of that car. There is no one trying any harder than Jason Plato. Behind him, we've got Adam... Oh, Jordan's been hit! Jordan's been hit! There was contact between him and Onslow Cole. Don't know how it actually began, but Jordan recovers, gets going, and rejoins just ahead of Alan Menu, who was in 13th place.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to Alan Menu. Obviously, at the start, he got swamped, and then I think he got involved in that action at the first complex, and it dropped him well down. But Turkington now starting to get more aggressive. Onslow Cole is now out, probably broken steering.
Yeah, as a result of that incident at the chicane. Tom Onslow Cole out. Let's see if we can find out again. Well, the contact already been made when they came into shot, really.
Yeah, just a case of 2 into 1 doesn't go. Fortunately, Mike Jordan keeps going, but once again, he's had a really promising race ruined. He still holds that fastest lap.
So, still the 2 BMWs out front. Look, on board Turkington, watch that car ahead. And remember, they're now picking up speed down the hill towards Church Corner, up to a good 120, nearly 130 miles an hour, then to dab on the brake and through this right-hander in top gear, hard on the power, nothing to choose between them.
No, there isn't, but that car, its tyres when they're new will overcome a little bit of that suspension deficit that he's obviously suffering. As the tyres get worn, then he'll start to struggle more.
Little pump on the brake pedal. You saw the lights flashing on and off from Matt Jackson. He's using his left foot to cover the brake on the way up to the chicane to make sure he's got a good firm pedal when he gets to a major stopping point. There's only a couple of key braking areas around this circuit, that is into the chicane and then into the complex. Through they come to complete another lap. 7 laps completed, we're on to lap 8 out of 16.
Yeah, and interestingly, Plato's just not showing that pace we've seen in the other 2 races. He's got the old Toledo of Adam Jones, not to take anything away from Adam Jones, but Adam Jones is right behind him, as is his teammate Turner.
Yeah, that's right. It doesn't look as though Plato's got the speed he needs from that car. This little group stays in position as well. Here comes the battle for the lead. Still Jackson and Turkington. There is Giovanardi then. The Italian is looking in good shape at the moment to take this title, unless Jason Plato can pull out some real magic here, but doesn't look as though he's able to close up at this point in the race. It's normally around this half-distance mark that we would expect to see that Sayat coming on a little bit more strongly, but have they gone a little more conservative on their tyre setup? Will Vauxhall have been pushing too hard? Until we get to the end of the race, we won't know for sure. There's no doubt, though, that Matt Jackson is driving superbly well, defending his lead from Colin Turkington in second place. And Plato driving his heart out here, but that gap has opened up, if anything, between himself and Tom Chilton up ahead. And, of course, not only has he got to get past Tom Chilton... Oh, Jason's gone straight on! What's he doing?
Well, he obviously locked up his brakes, but he's gained a bit of an advantage there, and that could be costly, because you're not allowed to gain an advantage. So, well, that's one that we'll have to come back to after the race. But he certainly gained some advantages that time on that lap, 0.9 of a second quicker than the car in front.
Yeah, well, that might indeed help him a little bit, but you know, he's got to go for it, isn't he? He's got to try every trick in the book, as well as being absolutely 100% committed, and it has allowed him to just close up fractionally to the back of that next group. And it's Tom Chilton who is in front of him here through the fast sections. That Seat engine, listen to it. Little lift off the throttle there. Working hard through the right-hander at Goodwood.
But this group is closing up. They are closing up gradually behind the two BMWs. So it could still become very, very tense as if they all start falling over each other. But certainly the look in the Seat garage from Sophie Plato is more of very anxious concern than enjoyment than it was earlier in the day.
That's right. They always knew this would be tough. And Matt Neal waving Tom Chilton through as well. So he's waving Tom. This is very strange, isn't it, to see Matt Neal just letting cars through here, and somehow I wonder whether he's actually going to let Jason Plato do the same or not. One wonders. Let's see what happens. Plato now has caught right up to the back of Matt Neal, and look, he's tight to the rear bumper of the team Halfords Honda as they head around the right-hander at Allard and up towards, look how wide Plato is there.
Yeah, well, we'll have to watch what happens now with Matt Neal and Plato. They are arch enemies from the past, but at the moment it looks as though Matt Neal's running as a fourth works Vauxhall, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's right. He certainly seems to be helping those guys out at the moment. Plato chases coming out of the complex, not really gaining enough on Matt Neal to challenge him right now. Giovanardi still running in that all-important third place currently, and plenty of places enough ahead of Jason Plato to wrap up this title, to win the Manufacturers' Championship for Vauxhall as well. But Plato's not given up yet. He's still pushing the car out to the very edge of the circuit in his attempts to close this gap a little bit, try and pick up the slipstream through this next section and chase Matt Neal as they come up the hill towards the chicane. No change up front, still Matt Jackson from Colin Turkington. It's still the battle between the two BMWs. There they are. Nothing to choose. They've been like this pretty much lap after lap, and both of them doing a fine job of looking after their tyres so far. Into the chicane then. Matt Neal bobbles over the chicane curbs and stays in front of Plato. There is Giovanardi, fairly lonely third, but he's got his own teammate now. Tom Chilton behind. There's his son Luca, his wife Patrizia watching. There's a bit of a glimmer of a smile on her face now, because they know they're in good shape here.
Yeah. Oh, it looked like Turkington looking down the inside. Jackson leaves just enough room. That was very good driving by Jackson. That was not to take the apex and have contact. He knew that Turkington was just there, and he just left enough room.
Yeah, he did. But well, let's see what happens. There's still some time to go here, and both those BMW drivers will want to finish the season on a high with a race victory, and that could all go wrong on the final lap, I could imagine. Here comes Plato again on the attack, very quick through the left-hander at Noble, but that might just compromise him a little bit through the right hand. On board now with Plato. How close can he get to the back of Matt Neal's car?
Well, Matt Neal hasn't waved him through, and Chilton's disappeared up the road, so he's certainly not helping, but Plato isn't exactly on the back of his case either.
No, he's not quite close enough, really, is he, to get past there anyway. He needs to be a little closer to mount an attack, and it's just not going to happen here. He's got to find a bit more pace somewhere. Up towards the chicane, braking alongside the grandstand, popping over the curb once again, closes up a little bit under braking, and he has actually made that through the chicane. He has gained a length or two.
Yeah, we've seen in the past the Seat is extremely good on the brakes and through those tight corners, just losing out through on the straights and the faster stuff, but maybe just, you know, we've at the end of a long day and a busy weekend. Oh, Turkington out wide.
Yeah.
But I'm just wondering whether those injuries that Jason Plato is carrying are starting to
Oh, look, they've made contact. Neal and Plato must have made contact there, because they ended up both across the grass. They're still leaning on each other, and now Plato is in front of Matt Neal. Well, drama again.
Yeah, had to happen, didn't it? Had to happen.
Sophie looks more nervous than ever now. That's still not enough, is it?
Let's get back to the pictures. Turner is coming up behind. If Turner can get past Neal, that will help Plato.
Now there's just one car between Giovanardi and Plato. Let's see what happened up there. This was coming into the complex. Plato was quite a long way back. Well, that was the contact. Little nudge from Plato onto Neal.
Yeah, that was straight up the back, wasn't it? And pushed Neal wide. And well, Yeah, look, he's getting it back now. He's getting it back.
He's returning the favour. He's
Neil's
returning
giving
the
it back to
favour.
him.
Oh,
Turkington's off.
Turkington spun from the battle in the lead. So it's Jackson on his own now. Giovanardi's up to second. That actually probably helps Giovanardi a little bit, or doesn't make too much difference in terms of points.
Plato and Chilton side by side. Plato and Chilton side by side.
Look at this. Plato might be able to get to up behind Giovanardi, but if he can get behind he makes contact with the back of Chilton's car. Well, Plato's giving it everything he's got here and a bit more as he tries to move up the order and get past this Vauxhall. He wants to get on terms with his championship rival, Fabrizio Giovanardi. But if he finishes behind Giovanardi, Giovanardi will win the title. He has to get past Giovanardi.
Yeah, then he has to fight it out with the clerk of the course, I should think, because he's already jumped the chicane, pushed Matt Neal out the way. It's getting very fraught, but the championship's on the line.
It is, and in a way you can sort of forgive him doing whatever it takes here, as long as it's safe, as long as he's not actually endangering anyone, and certainly that hasn't occurred as yet. But right behind him still is Matt Neal. Matt Neal is right behind him, and look at that. As it stands right now, Giovanardi will win the title by just 1 point. That's how close it would be. Matt Neal's gonna launch himself. Is he trying to attack Jason Plato again into the chicane? But there's not quite contact that time. They managed to make it through without hitting each other.
Well, the Seat team will be screaming at Darren Turner to try and get past Matt Neal and give his teammates some protection, because if he can't get past Plato, he's still sitting duck to... Oh, he's on the grass. He's a sitting duck for Matt Neal.
Yeah, that's right. This is the area where Plato hit Matt Neal earlier, and they just turn in. It's so tight between these two. 14 laps. We're on to lap 14. We've had 13 laps so far. So 2 3/4 laps still to go, and Plato's still under pressure here from Matt Neal. Matt Neal's going to try and come back at him. There's the view from Plato, looking back at the outgoing champion, Matt Neal, double champion Matt Neal. But these two have had so many run-ins over the last couple of years, and Plato absolutely focused on staying ahead of him. But it's not enough to just stay ahead of Matt Neal. He's got to try and find a way past Tom Chilton as well.
He has Matt Neal taking a tighter line through there. He's got a little bit more grip underneath him at the moment. This is on board, going through Church.
Matt Jackson's still the race leader, but we're focusing on what's going on behind. It's all about the title. Giovanardi looking good still. He's in second place. Chilton in the other Vauxhall in third. They're heading for the manufacturer's title. Here comes Plato versus Matt Neal again into the chicane. Nothing to choose between them, and still there. Now there's a chance. Plato just opened up a length or so, and Darren Turner that little bit closer to the back of Matt Neal. He might be able to help Plato.
Well, Plato's now in clear air anyway. He's got shaken off Neal from his back bumper at least by a couple of car lengths, so he's in clean air. But can he catch up? Giovanardi's just starting to ease off his pace, look. Yep. Giovanardi's easing his pace to save his tyres. He's worried about his tyres on the last 2 laps. He knows he's got Chilton behind him, but he's easing his pace off. This might be a mistake, because if Plato gets too close, he will have a go regardless.
Yeah, absolutely. It's worth it, isn't it? Because it's all or nothing now for Plato, with a lap and a half to go here. Fingers crossed wherever you look. The Giovanardi looking good for a 3-point victory here if it stays as it is right now. But is he going to hold that? That's the question. Are the tyres going to be okay for the remainder of the race? He's still being shadowed by his teammate Tom Chilton, but Matt Neal's again a little bit closer to the back of Plato as they come out of Church Corner and head up Woodham Hill. Up towards the chicane this time, and we've got a red flag. A red flag has come out.
Red flag.
So there's been an accident somewhere. Oh, right, Jordan. There's been an accident at the chicane. There's a red flag. Everyone slows down, and they've done it. Vauxhall has done it. Fabrizio Giovanardi has won the British Touring Car Championship of 2007. Vauxhall have won the manufacturer's title as well. It's their 6th manufacturer's title in 7 years. It's their 5th driver's title in the last 7 years. And it's an 8th touring car title somewhere around the world for Fabrizio Giovanardi. And it's celebration time. Look at him, Fabrizio, really starting to enjoy this moment now. He has done it. He has snatched the championship in the final race of the season. And look at him, look at him.
He's shown us some car control over the year. Now he's just showing off. How do you celebrate if you're Giovanardi? You show off with some car control. Well, a sad end to the race meeting with a red flag, but it did look like it was Giovanardi's all the way through that race. His superb start off the line was really what won him that race. I have to feel for Plato. He's a hugely valiant and brave loser, and there he is. Well, you know, words fail me, the poor guy, but there can only be one winner and only one loser, and it's Giovanardi for 2007.
Yeah, the Italian has done it, the first Italian to win the title since Gabriele Tarquini back in 1994. Let's just take a look and see what happened. Ooh, that was out of the chicane, and that was a big impact with the wall. Don't know what caused that. It looks maybe as there was a breakage or something.
Well, yeah, definitely. There was either a puncture or a breakage, which would have occurred as he went over the curbs at the chicane, because he couldn't turn right and the car just went straight in. That was Ian Harrison, the boss of Triple Eight. He's worked very hard to come back from the doldrum years with the Astra Sport hatch, develop this car. Some said it was ugly and it would never work, but a car that wins is always a beautiful car.
They've done it. Matt Jackson has taken the final win of the season as well. What a result for the youngster, his second win of the year, and for a privateer team, well, he's come good again. He wins by 2.5 seconds just over from Fabrizio Giovanardi. Giovanardi's second place does enough for him. John Chilton is third, and Vauxhall take the manufacturer's trophy as well. Jason Plato, he tried his heart out, but he finished in fourth. Matt Neal in fifth. Darren Turner in the Seat in sixth, ahead of Adam Jones. Tom Coronel, Gordon Shedden finished in 9th place, and Rob Collard finished in 10th. Well, real drama all the way to the end, and a great shame to finish it on a red flag, but that's the way it goes. And the final standings, Fabrizio Giovanardi wins it by 3 points over Jason Plato. After 30 races all over the UK, it's come down to just 3 points, and Giovanardi has done it. He's taken the title, his 8th touring car title around the world. He's been Italian champion, he's been Spanish champion, he's been European champion, and now he's taken the British Championship, one of the most prestigious titles there is in the world of tin top racing. And boy, did he have to fight for it all the way to the flag. And what a great performance by the whole Vauxhall team as well. Ian Harrison, team boss there, the chief mechanic Martin Ellis, his engineer Alex Somerset, who's tasted success before and looked after things for Matt Neal in his first season when he became champion. And that's going to mean such a lot to Alex, to all the guys there at VXR, well, to snatch it right at the end. But you have to feel for Jason Plato, and that's nice to see. I mean, what a week he's had. The burns he suffered at the first part of the week, his hands, his neck have been dressed all through the course of the weekend. He's fought for this title. Seat looking for their first Drivers' Championship in British touring cars. And I tell you what, they've run a superb campaign. Many congratulations to Seat, to team manager Jonathan Haynes, who came in this year. And I think they've run an absolutely brilliant campaign. But ultimately, perhaps, this car here at Thruxton, maybe that was what the difference was. The Vauxhall was simply the quicker car at Thruxton. There were 2 meetings at Thruxton this year, and that perhaps just favoured Vauxhall at the end of the day. They have taken the win, and I'm sure they're very happy that the season finale was lined up to be here. It was always a successful track for them in the past. Here it is, the moment. Fabrizio celebrating his British touring car title win. A very, very special moment indeed. Only his second year of racing on the UK tracks, of course. He had to learn them all last year. And there's Alan Menu, who's been an absolutely brilliant third member of that team. He didn't have such a good run there. He ended up in 12th place, a disastrous first lap. But what he'd done earlier was enough for them, really, to take what they needed in the championship and points for the manufacturers. And there is Fabrizio Giovanardi. Relief at last being awarded as well. And there's Mike Nicholson. So a fantastic performance by Giovanardi. You have to feel for Plato, but it's the Italian who's champion. Well, that's nice to see, isn't it? There is a very special moment. Jason, over to congratulate Fabrizio Giovanardi, who has taken the title, but, well, they both fought so hard there. There's Tom Chilton to congratulate his teammate for the season as well. Brilliant, brilliant day by Fabrizio Giovanardi, and we'll be right back with all of the reaction from the drivers right after the break here on Setanta Sports.
Yes, I'm here with Jason. That was a heart-stopping race, Jason. Can you put into words how you must feel? You clearly are disappointed not to take the championship this year. It was very close.
Yeah, it was very close, but you know, it kind of all hung on that last race, and I didn't get a very good start, so unfortunately that's down to me. And you know, once I knew that if the Vauxhalls came past, they'd gang up as a team as we expected they would do, and you know, it was a great fight for the championship. It just didn't go our way, unfortunately, but you know, he's the best man won on the day. Simple as that.
I mean, during that race, it did look like Matt Neal sort of jumped in there as well, not to not make your life so easy.
Well, that's what I expect from Matt. You know, I saw him wave past Chilton. I mean, Matt's a Vauxhall driver now, we all know that, and it's just a shame he got in the middle of things. But that's how it is, we expect that from the man. But, you know, I'm going to hold my head high. I did a good effort today and yesterday, but it wasn't to be, and that's unfortunately how it is. But, you know, thanks to all at SAET, everyone's worked tremendously hard over the last four years. And, you know, we have to go away, have a couple of beers tonight, and then come back in March or wherever it is, April next year, and, you know, all systems go again.
But Jason, how are you feeling within yourself, obviously, after the incident? It's been a difficult week for you, really, but are you feeling okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm obviously disappointed because this is, you know, the most important race of my life, but, you know, I've been around long enough to know that sometimes things go your way and sometimes they don't. And, you know, this week was conspiring against me, and yet we managed to put that behind us. But unfortunately, we weren't the chosen one on the day, and we didn't perform well enough to win.
Well, any congratulations for what you have achieved. It's been a great year, and obviously commiserations.
Thanks a lot.
Yep, and if we just stay down here, obviously Matt Jackson. Matt, many congratulations. It was always going to be a pretty frantic race.
It was, yeah. We knew, you know, after race 2 when we got a terrible start, I thought we've got to make a good start because we don't want to be down in the championship battle. Luckily we made a good start, and we got into the lead from there on. Just that didn't really go to script that Colin was going to be on our rear bumper the whole way around. But you know, it was a good battle. He raced it very, very fair. You know, a few biffs in the door here and there, but absolutely spot on, and unfortunate that he went out. But no, it's fantastic, really, to everybody who's involved with the team. You know, all the sponsors. It's fantastic.
I mean, obviously you come into the championship this year. You've had a good, strong showing. So to end the race with a win must be good. Absolutely, yeah. It's always the race that you want to win, isn't it? It's the last round of the championship, and you know, the second win of this year. So it's been awesome, really. It's fantastic, and the BMW's been absolutely incredible all year. Okay, well done. Thank you very much. Thank you.
So just confirmation of the result then. We've got 2 more races here.
So Matt Jackson there, a worthy winner of that final race of the season. And let's just see what it's all meant in terms of championship points throughout the course of this year. Fabrizio Giovanardi ends up as champion. Plato has to settle for runners-up spot. Gordon Shedden took 3rd from his teammate Matt Neal, who managed to stay ahead of Colin Turkington. Turkington could have done with the points there for a win, but he didn't manage to make it past Matt Jackson. Matt Jackson, a very strong 7th at the end of the season, and Mike Jordan 8th. The course of that red flag, let's hope that he's okay. Obviously worrying to see somebody go out at the end of a race like that. And of course last year at Silverstone he also had an accident at the last meeting of the year too. Tom Chilton finished in 9th, and Tom Onslow Cole finished in 10th place in the points. That was a good first season from him as well. Another youngster to really keep an eye on for the future. Matt Jackson, Tom Onslow Cole, 2 excellent debut years from those guys, and I think we will see more of them in the future. So that's how the Drivers' Championship ended up then. And if we just look at some of the other aspects of it, the Independence title we certainly know has gone to Colin Turkington, so that was a good effort by Team RAC with their BMWs. They are very much independents. Those cars they bought and paid for from BMW. They get no specific support from BMW. They've managed it all themselves, and they've taken that trophy for the Independence driver. They've also won the Independence Teams trophy as well. SAET have won the Teams championship, so they don't go away completely empty-handed. SAET did win the Teams championship, but Vauxhall did enough to win the Manufacturers championship. So SAET will be disappointed to have missed out on the drivers. That was the one they were really looking for, and difficult to say if they did anything wrong this year. There were hardly any situations, I feel, where they made any big mistakes or where Plato threw away a lot of points, but he was up against a driver in Giovanardi who also made very few mistakes and was incredibly quick on a number of occasions and made the most of that rapid Vauxhall Vectra. So it just wasn't to be for him. And well, we'll just have to see what happens in the future and how things change. And by the sound of it, it looks like Matt Neal is going to be Fabrizio Giovanardi's new teammate at Vauxhall, from what everybody, all the rumours are saying in the paddock. Matt Neal will be alongside Fabrizio Giovanardi at VXR in 2008, and that's going to be an interesting little confrontation between two top frontline drivers, and that's going to be fun to see. There's some of the celebrations already taking place, and it's nice to see all the boys there at VXR who've worked so hard over the course of this season. Yes! Alex Somerset on the right there, his engineer, big smile on his face, and well, they really do deserve the honours there. Tom Chilton, who had a difficult year, there's no doubt about it. He really did struggle to score the same sort of consistency of result that his more experienced teammate did. Didn't manage to win a race in the end. John Cleland in that lineup as well, another champion for Vauxhall in the past, of course. And Vauxhall really do have a remarkable record in the British Touring Car Championship. John's titles coming back in 1995 and in 1989, both with Vauxhall. And now there is Fabrizio. He's with Diana. Let's see if we can get a word with him. Diana.
Walk up to there. Okay, Fabrizio, many congratulations. The British 2007 champion. What does it mean to finally get there?
To win the title like that is amazing, because every driver outside wants to try to win the championship. It's not very easy. It's not very easy. This is why we fought a lot until the end. So 1 point last race, the pressure was very high. So just the start made the difference. I could not divide my title with Plato because it was very good, but I have to divide the title with all my team, all the Vauxhall, everything. Everybody helped me to do this.
But you've had a really great season.
Yeah, it was really great. 10 wins and a lot of effort to do this. Brand new car. Okay. I think it was good, very good.
Thank you, enjoy. And to Fabrizio's family as well, enjoy your celebrations.
Lovely to see them here to support Fabrizio. They're making their way over towards the podium in just a moment or two's time. Here on Setanta Sports, of course, our coverage will continue. We've got the second of the Formula Renault races here today. The championship already been wrapped up by Duncan Tappy, so congratulations to him. Good effort from him all through the season. Actually, it was a very entertaining Formula Renault race that we saw earlier on today, so hopefully there'll be more of the same to look forward to once the trophies have been handed out for the championship, and that's what we're looking forward to now. In fact, we're waiting for those championship trophies to be awarded. We're looking for the Drivers' Championship trophy, for the Manufacturers' Awards, the Independent Drivers and Teams Awards as well, and the overall team awards as well, all about to be handed out. Everybody in position there. Good to see Colin Turkington's down there. Of course, he's the winner of the Independence trophy, and those are for the teams that are not backed by a works manufacturer. And of course, at the moment in the championship, that means just Vauxhall and Seat. And of course, I'd love to see some more manufacturers joining in. Hopefully that may still happen in the future.
I'll cue him when he's ready.
So it looks as though everybody getting ready there for the final presentations to be made down there on the podium. Vauxhall, of course, having been not able to win the championship the last couple of years. It was James Thompson who was the last winner for Vauxhall. He is here this weekend, I'm glad to say. James Thompson, saw him in the paddock earlier. He was the 2004 and 2002 champion, sandwiching that victory for Ivan Muller in 2003, which really saw Vauxhall's dominance, because it was a sequence begun by Jason Plato in 2001. So Vauxhall had an absolutely amazing run of success there, 01 through to 04, 2 years out of it as the drivers' champions anyway, and then they've come back well in 2007 to take the title there with that man Fabrizio Giovanardi. And you know, his list of achievements really is quite remarkable now. The man who started his touring car career back in the early 90s. He had been a single-seater racer and kart racer before he switched to saloon cars. He was third in Italian F3 back in 1988. And Fabrizio Giovanardi all set to receive his trophy, and it's going to be Alan Hyde to announce the presentations.
Are about to be crowned. Alan Gale, the series director, will make the presentation. First of all, to the winning independent team for 2007. To represent the winners, Sean Meadows, Team RAC. Well done to Team RAC. Up onto the podium goes Sean Meadows and some youngsters as well representing Team RAC. And the independent team's champion is held high. Well done to them. The next award is the 2007 Team Champions. The Team Champions are Seat Sport UK. To represent them, Ian Fisher, the team principal of Seat Sport UK. Onto the podium he goes. Big cheer for Seat Sport UK, and the trophy in Fishy's hands. The next award is the 2007 Independent Champion, Colin Turkington. Representing Team RAC, 12 independent wins this year for Colin Turkington, holds the trophy high. Well done to Colin Turkington. The next award is the 2007 Manufacturer Champions, the winners of Vauxhall. To represent them, Bill Parfitt, the Managing Director of Vauxhall Motors. Onto the podium, he gets the silver salver and holds it high. The manufacturer's crown goes the way of Vauxhall. And finally, the 2007 Dunlop MSA British Touring Car Champion is Fabrizio Giovanardi. A huge cheer, the Italian flag for Fabrizio Giovanardi. And there's the trophy. He is the 2007 Dunlop MSA British Touring Car Champion.
Well, there it is. Fabrizio Giovanardi takes the trophy then. He's got the flag as well, the Italian flag, as I say. It was Gabriele Tarquini who was one of the most popular winners of the British Touring Car Championship, who was the last Italian to win it. That was back in 1994 when he drove for Alfa Romeo. But it's for Vauxhall that Fabrizio Giovanardi's done it. Man who came in, really sort of took over, if you like, from Ivan Muller, who was the star for Vauxhall for so many years. But they have a new star, and he's taken his first British title. And he, well, you could say that he could win many more in the future, but he's done it today by a brilliant, tiny margin. So, we've got one more race to go. It is the Formula Renaults. They're coming up in just a moment and will be returning in the capable hands of Piers Maserati and John Hindhoff.